Hey, Mike Stroff here. Thanks for following us on our YouTube channel. We really appreciate it. We've been getting some guys and some feedback, or guys hitting us up saying, hey, how do I know when you got new videos coming up? You've got to hit that notification bell. That way you're getting notified when you subscribe to the channel. Again, it's up at the top, notification bell. Just click on that and you'll know when we got new content going up. And that way you don't sit there and wonder a couple weeks later, where'd these guys go, or where's the content? We're putting it up all the time. You get those notifications and you'll know when we've got new content up. Check this video out. I think you're gonna like it. Hi, I'm Mike Stroff from Savage Outdoors. Welcome to Easton's Bowhunter Basecamp. I'm going to talk about how we like to skin deer here in Texas, and this can work for anybody, anywhere that you can get the deer hung. You don't have to have a fancy skinning facility like this, hanging on a tree limb if you want to. If you can get the deer hung, you don't even have to gut them. I'm going to show you how to do it right now. So basically, I'm going to start off by just making a quick cut around the legs here, kind of above where any good meat would be. And I'm going to do this on both sides, okay? We're not going to mount this deer. Kind of got a unique way I like to do it, but I'm going to basically bring it right down here by the gut hook. It's nice to have a gut hook, good tool to have. Make these cuts real simple to bring it to the middle here. And basically right below his wang dang there. I don't know if that was the politically correct way to say it, but it's what my son says. So I'm basically going to cut this up and keep pulling. Just keep pulling up on it because it makes it easier to cut. And because of the balls and everything, there's some weight to that. You throw it over the back, it'll pull the hide over the back for you. We are going to tan this hide, so I'm going to go ahead and just make my straight cut down and get this done with the gut hook. So what I'm doing here, I've cut all the way down the middle of the deer, and I'm coming down his leg. And I'm going to do just like I did on the top legs. I'm just going to make a ring around it once we get past the meat that we're going to use, so that when I skin down this far, it'll come right off. Real simple. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Meat that we're going to use, go make a ring around his legs, so it'll come off easy when we skin down this far from the top. Okay, so I got that done. Now I'm going to just, on the back end here, spin him around so you can see, I'm going to skin down to the tailbone, okay? When a deer's warm like this, you can get away with a lot of peeling, putting good tension on the hide, and you're cutting right on that white line where the hide meets the meat, trying not to pull any meat onto the hide, and when you do, you can just trim it back. It's not a big deal. So I'm just going to keep working down toward this tailbone, taking the hide off the hams. Having a knife with a good gut hook is a nice thing to have. All right, so you're going to get to where you got his man stuff there. It's easy just to cut it off. There you go. Yes, I just cringed. So I'm just going to keep skinning it down, basically getting the hide all the way off the ham. And see how I got a little bit of meat there? So I just come up and I just trim it like that and keep working down. And then I don't have any meat. I don't take a big chunk off the ham. Okay, so I'm at the tailbone. I'm just going to get between those vertebrae there, and I just cut through it. Once I get past this chunk of meat here and all this fat on this deer, I should be able to peel it and save some cuts. Just saving time. I'm going to skin off the front here so it doesn't hang me up. I'm just skinning down. And you can go fairly quick because it's easy to see that line. And remember, like I said when I started, we're not going to gut this deer, and we're going to get all the edible meat out of him. And it doesn't matter how you hang the deer. As long as you can get him hung, you can do it like this. Okay, so I've got it down where I've kind of skinned around the belly. I'm past the tail, and I'm going to save myself some cutting time. I'm going to peel him. Or at least as far as I can. And it pulls it away nice. You just get a little fat on the hide. No big deal. You can see that's where he got shot. Gonna continue cutting the hide down. I've gotten down to the shoulders. I'm gonna take it down as close to his ears as I can, and then I'll cut his head off, and I'll deal with the antlers after a while. We'll do a video later on about how to cape them and how to deal with your antlers. This one is all about how to skin them and not have to gut them. So just keep working it down. Obviously, a little bit of shock damage there. Okay, so kind of got to where I'm getting down to where I made my cuts to the legs. So you can see I got a little daylight in there. I can get in here and trim this down, and then I'll have skin past the leg. Now I'm past the shoulder, and I'm starting to get into the neck. This is a big, heavy-duty buck, so he doesn't have much of a neck, but same thing on this side. I'm gonna finish cutting the hide away from the leg here. And now I'm past the shoulder on this side as well. Just gonna continue down the head. Guess I should have warned you at the beginning of this video. It is rated PG-13, but there's nothing wrong with what we're showing you because this is where your meat comes from, right? Unless you're vegetarian, I don't want to hear about it. All right, we're down pretty good. So I'm gonna cut into his neck to where I can get to the bone. I'm gonna take my saw. If you had a hand saw, it'd be fine. We like more power here in Texas, so I'm gonna get the power saw. All right, I'm gonna cut his head off now because I've skinned down as far as I can. Okay, now that I've got it cut through, I'm gonna just cut this rest of this muscle away, and I'll have his head off. Boom. So now I've got the hide and head taken care of. All right, now we're going to talk about how we take care of the meat without having to gut them. You're probably like, what's he doing? So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cut his legs off, and then I'm going to cut the front quarters off, okay? So I'm just going to use my saw. Just getting these off quick. So I'm going to cut the front quarters off now. Again, we're doing this without having to gut the deer. We're going to get all the edible meat. One thing I like to do is cut a hole through the meat here so that I've got a spot to put my fingers through, so I've got something to hold on to. And cutting right behind that shoulder blade and getting down right before the neck roast starts and cutting away, front quarters off. Do the same thing on the other side. All right, so I've got the front 2 quarters off. Now, the good stuff, the back strap. Simple, down the spine. I'm gonna cut one cut down one side, one cut down the other side. And then I'll do a flat cut across and we'll get the good stuff out of here. So I've cut down the spine on this side. I'm gonna cut across here to kind of form up the strap. And what I'm doing now is basically just walking right down the spine, trying to leave as little bit of meat as possible on the bone, and I'm taking these back straps right off. Just work it right down the inside of the spine, nothing to it. Till you get down here to right before the neck starts, cut it off. Got a whole beautiful back strap right there. We're gonna cut these hams. And because we're going to make burger, we're going to actually, since we're making burger out of this one, we're actually going to take it off whole. I'm going to debone it right now and get all the meat off the bone. And that way, all we got to do is chunk it and put it in the grinder. All right, so basically cutting to the bone here. I'm coming around, show you here, around the bone there and down. And I've got 2 halves I'm going to work around. And going right down the leg bone, trying to keep it as close to the bone as I can. And all this will come off in one nice piece.
Again, like I did on those front quarters, get you a hole through there where you can get your, because this is a big old chunk of meat when it comes off, where you can get your finger in there and grab a hold. And you see, I've got tight to the bone there. I'm gonna throw that right in the grinder. There's my whole hand. All right, so there's some meat here that we can trim up a little bit. We'll do that at the end. Again, it's just going in the grinder. So we've got the front quarters off. Got the big chunks of the ham off. We're not gonna gut the deer, but I still want my inner loins. So I'm gonna cut him open just a little bit to where I can see in here. We're gonna do a little bit of surgery. So I'm gonna run my knife just down the inside of the spine, leaving as little bit of meat on the bone as possible. Just give it a little pull and take that fat off. Pretty inner loin. So what we've got left, like I say, is some trimmings, and then of course, because we're going to make a lot of burger and sausage, I'm going to cut these neck roasts down the sides here. So I'll have two big chunks that we'll cut up and put in the grinder, because this deer's got a lot of meat on his neck. That's a big chunk of meat. I'm not going to bore you to tears while I trim the rest of this little bit of meat that we can get off this thing. But basically, if you've just watched me take all the edible meat off, I've taken the front shoulders off, I've taken the back straps out, I have taken the inner loins out, I've taken the hams off. I'm going to trim and take as much of this side meat as I can, and we are done. And I can put this whole carcass in the back of the truck or on the ATV whole and take it to our pit and dispose of it properly, and we didn't have to gut the deer. Hope that was informative. Thanks for coming to Easton's Bowhunter Basecamp. We'll see you next time.